I still remember the exact moment everything fell apart. We were sitting on that old bench in the park, the one we'd claimed as our spot since high school, laughing about some dumb joke only we understood. The air was crisp, the sun just dipping below the horizon, casting long shadows over the cracked pavement. It felt like nothing could touch us. But then, out of nowhere, the words came crashing down, shattering the illusion of forever friendship. It started with a message, a casual text that I wasn't supposed to see. I stumbled upon it by accident, a notification glowing on their phone screen left carelessly unattended. My heart skipped as I read the words, not believing what was being said. It was about me, but not in the way a friend would ever talk. The betrayal hit me like a cold wave, the warmth of years of trust instantly replaced by a chilling sense of doubt. The next days were a blur of confusion and silence. I kept replaying that message, trying to convince myself it was a mistake, a joke, something that didn't mean what it said. But the sting in my chest refused to fade. Every memory we shared suddenly felt tainted, as if a dark shadow had crept over all the good times, twisting them into something I couldn't quite recognize anymore. When I finally confronted them, the conversation was nothing like I expected. Their eyes darted away, lips trembling as they tried to explain, but the words felt hollow. The trust we had built over years was crumbling beneath us, and I could see it in the way they avoided my gaze, like they were ashamed or maybe afraid. That moment was heavier than any silence we'd ever shared. I remember the cold wind swirling around us as we sat there, both of us trying to hold onto what was left but failing. It was like watching a slow-motion collapse of something precious, and no matter how much I wanted to fix it, the pieces kept slipping through my fingers. The friend I thought I knew was suddenly a stranger standing across from me, carrying secrets that wounded me deeper than I thought possible. Days turned into weeks, and the silence grew louder between us. I caught myself checking my phone, hoping for a message, some sign that things could still be okay, but the screen stayed dark, mirroring the emptiness I felt inside. The friendship that once filled my life with color was now a grayscale memory, edged in pain and regret. Friends around me noticed the change, their eyes filled with sympathy, but also uncertainty. They didn't know what to say or how to help, and honestly neither did I. It's strange how a betrayal like this isolates you, making you question not only the friendship but your own judgment, your worthiness of being trusted and loved. One afternoon, I found myself wandering back to that park bench, the place where it all started to unravel. The leaves were falling thick, swirling around my feet like a silent witness to the broken promises. Sitting there alone, I felt the weight of every word left unsaid, every smile that now felt forced or fake. The ache inside was almost physical, a reminder that some wounds don't heal quickly. I thought about all the moments we shared, the late-night talks, the endless support, the laughter that once felt endless. Could all that really disappear overnight? Was it possible for someone to carry such a double life, to pretend to care while plotting behind the scenes? The questions burned in my mind, but the answers remained elusive, hidden behind a wall of silence. The hardest part wasn't just the betrayal itself, but the realization that I had invested so much of myself in someone who didn't value that trust. It's a brutal kind of heartbreak, different from any romantic pain, because it shakes the very foundation of who you are. When a friend breaks your trust, it feels like losing a part of your identity. I tried to tell myself to let go, to move on, but the memories clung stubbornly. Every song on the radio, every place we used to go together, every little thing reminded me of what was lost. I caught myself smiling at old photos, tears threatening to spill as I remembered the good times that now felt so distant, almost like a different life. Sometimes I wondered if they felt the same pain, if they regretted what happened, or if it was just me left to pick up the pieces. The silence between us was deafening, a constant reminder that some bridges, once burned, aren't easily rebuilt. And yet, part of me held on to a flicker of hope, desperate for some chance to mend the broken trust. I started writing letters I never sent, pouring out all the hurt, anger, and confusion onto paper. It became a way to make sense of the chaos inside, a private dialogue where I could be honest without fear. Each letter was a step toward healing, even if the real conversation with my friend remained impossible. There were moments when I caught myself imagining what I would say if we ever met again, not with anger, but with the raw honesty of someone who had loved deeply and been deeply hurt. I wanted to tell them how much their betrayal cut me, how it changed me, but also how I still wished things could be different. In the quiet hours of the night, I sometimes replayed our last conversation, searching for clues, signs that I missed. Was there something I could have done differently? A warning I ignored? The self-doubt gnawed away at me, making the pain even harder to bear, as if I was partly to blame for the friendship's collapse. Friends told me it was okay to grieve, to feel lost, and that time would help. But some days, time felt like a cruel reminder of the distance growing between what was and what could never be again. Trust isn't something you can just patch up. It's a fragile thread that once snapped, leaves a scar no matter how hard you try to hide it. Despite the heartbreak, I found myself learning about resilience, how to stand when everything inside feels broken. It wasn't easy, and there were nights filled with tears and doubt, but slowly, the pain began to lose its sharpness. The memory of that friendship still lingered, bittersweet and raw, but I started to believe that maybe, someday, I could find peace again. This story is far from over. Every day brings new challenges, new questions, and sometimes new hope. Broken friendships teach us about vulnerability, about the risk of opening our hearts, and about the strength it takes to face the wounds they leave behind. It's messy, painful, but deeply human, just like the bonds we cherish and sometimes lose. I'm still figuring out what comes next, still navigating the complicated landscape of trust and forgiveness. Maybe one day, the pieces will fall into place, or maybe they won't. But for now, I hold on to the lessons learned and the quiet courage it takes to keep moving forward, even when the past feels like a shadow that never fully fades. If you've ever had a friendship break in a way that left you questioning everything, you know this pain isn't something you can just brush off. It's a journey through grief and healing, a reminder that trust is precious and fragile. And sometimes, the hardest part is learning how to protect your heart without shutting it off completely. So here I am, sharing this story because maybe it will resonate with someone out there, someone who's also sitting on a cracked bench, feeling the weight of broken trust and wondering if it's possible to find light again. Because even in the darkest moments, the human heart seeks connection, healing, and the hope of new beginnings. And as the leaves fall and the seasons change, I find myself slowly learning to let go, not just of the pain, but of the expectations, the anger, and the what-ifs. It's not about forgetting, but about making space for something new to grow, even if it's just the quiet strength to stand alone for a while.